In this video, I want to talk about the smear campaign, what it is, why it works for narcissistic people, but I also want to talk about some ways that this can actually backfire on a narcissist. I also want to talk about some things you can do to combat a nasty narcissistic smear campaign. The smear campaign simply is when the narcissist in question goes around to any and everybody and begins to drag your name through the mud, trying to damage your character and credibility. This is used after a discard or anytime they need to play the victim, when they need people to not trust you, when they need to prove that you're crazy, etc. And in some cases, this can work quite well for a narcissist, unfortunately. They normally begin the smear campaign once you're into the devaluing stage of the relationship. One of the most common people who you will be smeared to are the new sources of supply. This encourages the new supply or supplies to not trust you, to not talk to you, and to not reach out to you. That could be incredibly damaging for someone narcissistic. They don't need you talking with other sources. Now, I'm not saying that this always works. I'm just saying it's extremely common. So the way I break this down when I talk about the smear campaign is, let's just make this as simple as possible. There are two people in this world, just two, who the narcissist can run a smear campaign on you with. People who know you and people who don't. That's it. So what I want to do first is talk about what happens when a narcissist does this with people who you don't know, they don't know you, they're a complete stranger. As in the case of a different source of supply, more than likely they don't know each other. So think about this as logically as possible. A stranger, essentially, has a bad impression of you, but all they're getting is one side of the story. They're getting the lies and the stories and the bullshit and all that stuff, right? However, this person doesn't know you from anybody else. So I want to ask you, survivor, what do you care? What somebody thinks about you when they only have half the story and it's all false information? I am positive, I know for a fact, would bet every dollar I got that the narcissist I was with has all these women that think terrible things about me. I know they do. I'm a liar, I'm a cheater, I'm a fake, I'm this, I'm that, I'm everything else. I am just sure of it. So what? I have my truth. I know he's telling lies. He has to. He has to play the victim. It has to fit into his narrative. Things have to work that way. But I know what happened to me. And you know your truth, survivor. You just haven't been given the chance to tell your side of things. And most of the time, we don't get that chance. And honestly, we shouldn't waste the time anyway. If someone in this world thinks poorly of me based off of a half-assed, incorrect version of events, that's on them. It's not on me. I know who I am. I know what happened in the relationship. And I hope that you can become as unbothered by it as I am. Of course, they think badly of me. Honestly, I would be surprised if they didn't. How can I win with that? I can't. We can't. However, that doesn't matter. It's just a source of supply or some other person who doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. If you'd like to talk with a survivor one-on-one and get some help and support for what you're going through, you can set up private phone chats with me by emailing BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com. Now, on the flip side of things, the people who do know you, this is obviously more damaging and what more people are concerned about, right? Because now we're into family, friends, coworkers, kids, and all of that. Narcissists will absolutely smear you to people who know you. However, I have to say, it's just not as successful as a lot of people think it is. It doesn't work. But there are people who will believe the narcissist and begin to think that you suck, among other things. But what I want to do here is actually get into some ways that a smear campaign can completely backfire, because it can. And again, when it comes to people who do know you, a lot of times it does backfire. So the real problem with a narcissist trying to run a smear campaign on you with people who know you is these people know you. The answer is hidden in plain sight. For example, you can't talk shit to me about my friends. You can't tell me terrible things about my family or my friends. They've been my friends for over 20 years. I've had my family for almost 40 because I'm old. And I know that they're good people. It's been tried before and it has never worked and it never will, because I know who those people are. In fact, when I see people try things like this and I know who the person is, I think to myself, how silly are you to think that you can change my mind about who this person really is? Nice try, though. This can also backfire when a narcissist runs a smear campaign, but now they need to hoover you, but they've already talked a bunch of shit about you to a bunch of people. It makes a narcissist look incredibly stupid when they do this and then try to get back together with you. It makes everybody look at them like, well, if this person was so bad, why are you trying to get back together? What are you doing here? What's going on? And so there are a couple of ways that this can actually cause the narcissist to lose credibility as they try to cause you to lose yours. In a lot of cases, it just doesn't work. For the most part, though, this is with people who do know you super well, with people who you've only known for maybe 6 months or less, or maybe a year or less. There are good chances they might believe the narcissist. People who have been in your life for the whole history of ever are not going to buy this. There's just no shot. But I want to tell you this, survivor, because this is one of the most important things I'm going to say in this video. If this has happened to you, people believe the narcissist, people you know, and they begin to treat you differently or avoid you, anything like that, it is just so highly unlikely that you can change someone's negative opinion of you. That's something that we just need to square with and be aware of. That's just the way it is. But what I want to impress on you is this when I go a little further. If these people who you know are buying the bullshit the narcissist is selling, and they don't come to you and say, hey, listen, this person has been saying these things about you. Is this true? If they don't ask you what your side is, if they just decide they're going to ignore you or lash out at you and tell you you're terrible, or you do say something and they don't believe you, remember, this person was never completely on your side to begin with. Someone who doesn't want the full story doesn't want it for a reason. And usually because the narcissist has weaseled their little way into the brain and convinced them you can't be trusted, you're a liar, a cheater, a fake, again, and so on. If somebody is an adult, they will want your side, and they won't make an opinion, they won't form one until they get both. Anyone siding with a narcissist is no friend of yours. With friends like that, you don't need enemies, flat out. They're not on your side. And of course, I strongly recommend you to remove those people from your life. They were never there for you anyway, and now that you know that they're a sheep and a slave to the narcissist, and they're a flying monkey more than likely, and they work and dance when the narcissist pulls the strings, you don't need them in your life. So, is there anything that you can do, right? We feel really helpless in these situations. What can we do? You can tell your story when you get the chance. You can tell your truth. I'm not suggesting that really you do these things, but you can confront people and say, hey, this is the deal. This is what happened. However, most people don't like confrontation. It probably won't go well. People get very defensive and they lie. So you can try to get your side out there should you choose to do so. I just honestly don't recommend it, but who am I? You're going to do what works for you. Of course you will, and that's fine. Another thing, and probably the most important thing, is just be you. Be a good person. See, narcissists want everyone to think that you're bad and you're crazy and you're mean and you do all these awful, terrible things, all the things that they do. All you really have to do is simply show people that you aren't that way. So just be you. Be who you already are. Most importantly, don't run your own smear campaign on the narcissist. As deliciously tempting as that sounds from time to time, I'm right there with you. I get it, but don't do it. If you have someone approach you and they say, oh, wow, I heard you broke up with so-and-so and you hurt them and you cheated and this, that, and the other, this is just where you smile and just say, oh, is that what they're saying? That's really, that's not how it went down at all. That's funny. I mean, we broke up, but I didn't do those things. It just didn't work out. So have a nice day. You just casually just be yourself. You don't shit talk them. You don't say, hey, listen, let me give you my whole side of things. Just be nice and calm and polite and act as if it doesn't really bother you. When you act unbothered by things, you don't look insane, basically. When you don't get defensive, people don't really think you have anything to be defensive about. This is honestly what you do. Be yourself. Take the high road. It's truly how you win with a narcissist. And I know that is so incredibly unfulfilling for people to hear because we get really angry. And that's normal and that's valid. Anger is real. We want revenge. We want to expose them and clear our name, but it's really hard to change the court of public opinion, among other things. If you hate me and you don't know me, newsflash, I don't really care. If you hate me and you do know me, you're already on my radar. I know you're not on my team and I still don't care. Those closest to me know who I am and I don't have anything to prove to anybody. So I think a key takeaway in this is we just can't worry so much about what other people think, especially when there's a third party off to the side who's planting all the ideas. There's honestly nothing we can do about it. Let people think whatever the fuck they want. You're going to do that as well. You're going to do whatever you want to do anyway. We need to focus on what we can change, what we can do, moving forward, worrying about us. Everything else, sometimes you just have to let the pieces fall where they may. So what happened with your smear campaign, survivor? Share with me if you feel comfortable down in the comments. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much for all the support. It's really overwhelming and I appreciate it. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.